This week on Keep On Painting, we're going to talk about irrigation and Hitler's thoughts on art. So most people know that Hitler was a failed artist. He went to art school and just didn't do so well. His paintings were kind of boring, pretty simple, really flat, one-dimensional. He was kind of a one-trick pony, you might say. He inadvertently had one of the most successful art shows to ever happen. It was called the Degenerate show. He wanted it to flop. He wanted it to fail. He wanted to make fun of the new modern artists coming up, the cubists, the abstract artists, the expressionists, but it failed horribly. It really backfired on him. Some people say it fueled him to hate artists and fight against artists even more than what he had originally planned. They became the source of a lot of frustration for him. Here comes the water. So this is the first irrigation of the year. And the first one is always kind of a mess of all the grass and just everything from over the winter. And so you gotta kind of flush it out. And that's what I'm doing now. So while the Degenerate show was going on, he also had another show going on called the Great German Art Exhibition. And that was all the art that he liked. And it was mostly paintings of like really handsome soldiers, a lot of blonde nudes. He also had heroic war paintings, and he loved handsome farmers. This was something that he felt Germany would represent Germany well. The Degenerate show was housed in an old clothing factory. And it was dark, and it had bad lighting, and the floors were dirty. And they intentionally hung the paintings crooked, and they hung them, they tried to make it look like a flea market. They even had writing on the walls that said things of like, these are the paintings of the mentally insane, and these are the paintings of sick minds. And they had one room that was only abstract paintings, and it had a sign above the door, and it said the insanity room. Hitler did not like the Modernists. And it's expensive to be a fascist. And so what Hitler did and the Nazis was they went around to different museums in Europe and stole paintings of the Modernists. Hey! Like Picasso's, Van Gogh's, Matisse's, and those they sold because there was money in it. And so, you know, some fascists steal paintings, some get into cryptocurrency, meme coins, tariffs, But Hitler, his choice was stealing paintings of the Modernists and selling them. Hitler made a speech in which he said that he was going to get rid of all the paintings that you can't understand. He didn't like paintings that he thought had a hidden message or a ulterior motive to what he wanted. One of my favorite artists is Otto Dix, D-I-X. And Hitler hated Otto Dix. Otto Dix had survived World War I, and he had seen his friends come back with missing arms and missing legs and lost their hearing and eyesight and all mangled from a war, and terrible ground war. And so he did paintings of that. And one of the paintings is his friends playing cards, and they have like wooden legs and robotic arms and eye patches, and it's an amazing painting. But Hitler didn't like that because it showed war as ugly and for what it really is. And Hitler wanted a nice, clean, glamorous war with handsome soldiers, and Otto Dix was not that person to paint that. So Hitler didn't like that very much. The whole idea of the Degenerate art show kind of backfired on Hitler, because it went on to become one of the greatest art exhibitions in the history of art. Over 2 million people went to the show to see the work of these insane artists, whereas the great German art exhibition only attracted about 500,000 people. This was despite the fact that minors weren't allowed at the Degenerate art show because Hitler said that it would corrupt the minds of young children and make them insane. So some of you may have seen the news this week that Robert McCurdy's portrait of Obama was taken down and replaced with this. Robert McCurdy's a great portrait painter. He's a photorealist. He's painted Neil Armstrong and Nelson Mandela and Jane Goodall and tons of people. He's been painting for more than 50 years now. And, you know, I'm no art critic, so am I going to tell you that this new painting is bad? I mean, it's bad, but you should make up your own mind. And perhaps what we should learn from the Degenerate show is that maybe you should look at Robert McCurdy's paintings and check up on Robert McCurdy and find out a little bit about him, because there's a reason that the current administration wanted to get rid of that portrait and replace it with this new painting. Hitler believed that if he could control the artists, or at least control what the public saw, that he could control the people. And it turns out people want to see art that's new and exciting and creative. They don't want to see the old stuff. I've told people before that I'll have a show and I'll work 6 months on a show and I'll hang all the paintings, we'll have the opening, and people will go in and walk through and look at all the paintings for like half hour or something, and they'll come out and they'll say, "That's great, what's next?" And I'm like, I just got this done. But that's just what art is all about, is what's next, what's new, what's on the horizon. It's been a long day. The irrigation's almost done. Some of the ditch that I use to irrigate off of is 250 years old. New Mexico's only been a state for like 110 years. It's kind of wild. The irrigation has stopped. I'm gonna make a quick dinner and then we'll make a painting. Okay, enough talk about Hitler. Let's make a nice little painting. So same as always, we're gonna draw it out real quick here. So what I'm gonna do a few sunset paintings because I owe some people some thank yous. So many people helped me out in a big way when I had the fire in my little art studio. And there were several people that really helped me out. Yeah, give people a nice thank you. Oh crap, on last week's episode, I did this timer to show how long I had worked on the painting. And people seem to really get a kick out of that. So yeah, I start every painting. I just kind of try to map it out real quick. And, you know, my advice is just keep it super loose. And I have a photograph over here I'm going to kind of work from. And yeah, just keep it loose. Kind of try to capture the essence. And I'm going to make up some water. Everybody likes water in a painting. I also want to say thank you to a couple of people who made comments on the last YouTube video. And, you know, this YouTube experience has been a lot of fun. I mean, I'm kind of shocked at how much I've enjoyed it. I've had several just beautiful moments where the one day, you know, losing my studio in the fire was kind of a big deal, you know. And the reality, it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I guess. And the reality is kind of setting in. And the one day, I don't know, I was just feeling a little blah, a little down. And I came in and there was a new comment on the video and it just said, "Awesome video." And it just made my day. I was just like, suddenly I was all happy again. It changed my mood. And someone else, oh, I should look it up. And Someone else gave me a real generous comment, and I'll look it up. We're at 12 minutes. Pretty much got the whole thing covered. Everything's where it's going to be. Looks like RTK3543 said, I've subscribed, enjoying your world. Love that top cat. Good luck with your journey on YouTube, my friend. Will watch with interest. And yeah, that just made my day when I saw that. I don't know, it's kind of dumb, but it's not dumb, I guess, but it's just silly somehow that cheered me up, you know? I guess there's nothing wrong with that, right? Okay, I'm gonna get busy on this. So now I would call this like pretty well blocked in. The whole canvas is covered with a fairly thick layer of paint. And so yeah, now I'll go back, I'll detail it, I'll feather some edges maybe, and hit some highlights. We're at 33 minutes. Okay, and finished. It looks good. I like it. I like this little bit of red right here. I like the sky. And let's see. We are at an hour 7. Okay, hang on. I woke up this morning and I thought I can do a better job on that painting. I was tired last night after all that irrigation and everything. It was a long day. I had my breakfast. I came out here, put in another 10, 15 minutes maybe. Let me show you what I did. First thing I did was I put in this little bit of purple, this light purple. It was bothering me that I had both of these mountains the same value. I wanted to set it back. I also softened the tops here a little bit, pumped up some of the brights, did this nice little swirl right here. I love that little. I also added a few more dots of color here on the horizon. Now I'm happy with it. Let me know if you like the Hitler segment. Not often you hear that. And next week I'm going to do Bob Ross. I'm super excited. I love Bob Ross. And I think that'll be a nice contrast to go from Hitler to Bob Ross. And so yeah, I'm already working on it. Very excited about that. Thanks for watching. Next week. Too much talking, I'm losing my voice.
Sometimes I feel like a lizard in a tin box. Sometimes it's just like being in a tin box. Like a lizard in a tin box. Can't hold on to the shiny